pay attention. Oh, yeah.
You're looking for capitals?
Farm shop here, should we set it all up?
Yeah.
Come on then, let's set it all up. Maybe put all the milk together. And these are the purses for the people to come to the shop with.
And who wants to be the shopkeeper? Let's see shop.
The reception class of Christchurch primary schools starting a new project. They're finding out what happens down on the farm with the help of their teacher, Sarah Jackson.
How many altogether? 2 add 3. How can we find out the answer to that?
3, 4, 5.
Sarah's been working in the foundation stage for 10 years, and she's trying to break away from the limitations of the classroom by encouraging structured play outside.
This cows udders. Look at the udders. Ah, don't put it on my shoe.
She needs some reassurance that she's moving in the right direction and has asked John Bailey to take a look.
Yes.
Sarah has the support of a strong team of teaching assistants, Carol Brisley and Pam Blake, and student teacher Rachel Chapman.
Now, this is the beginning. This is a story that's going to last us about 10 minutes, what happens with this milk. Look, do you see on the ground, they can't quite figure out how to fill... They can't sort it out. So Hannah's going to go off on a journey
Let's go to the milk place.
to figure it out.
I'm scared if we drop it. The bottle's in the milk place.
Okay.
Because they're scared if we drop it on us.
OK, then off we go.
This is where... Oh.
That right, Kayla.
When she first starts
So,
tipping,
Kayla.
there's a few seconds when she hesitates about whether to put the lip of the bucket over the lip of the neck or the other way around.
Because I'm going back to the shop.
What are you doing, Hannah?
And then along comes Teach.
Why don't you use this? Do you think that might help you?
There's some water in here.
You could tip it, you could do this, someone could hold it for you, and then you could tip it in. That might make it a bit easier, won't it? You know what this is called? It's a funnel to help you get it. It's really heavy, that bucket as well. She's really persevering. Tip, tip. Hello, I'm going to be over there with the eggs. Okay, I'll be there in a second. Keep, that's it. I'll tell you when it's full. Oh, that's heavy, is it, Hannah? And stop. Might be done. She's still holding on to a big bucket.
Yeah.
She won't let it go.
Let me try and carry it now.
The story is by no means over yet.
Strolling along, not caring the world with her.
Yes, that's right. But she's looking for the other milk bottles.
Yeah.
Something's up.
Have you seen a milk bottle? Yes!
Could you talk us through her walk, what she was learning and doing?
Well, obviously a huge amount of perseverance because she went on for, I don't know how long it was, 10, 15 minutes? So, I mean, she knew exactly what she wanted to do and she stuck to it until it was finished, really. And then sort of carried on some more, I think.
It was like she was doing her own investigating
definitely.
how to figure out what she needed and how she was going to go about getting the resources to what she needs. So it was like she was using her own brain rather than being told.
Yeah.
And involving other children,
Yeah.
obviously. She was going around sort of talking to everybody else, asking lots of questions. Has anybody seen the bottles?
Ah, did you see that? Yeah. I know. Let's put it over here.
This is where play and learning come together.
Absolutely.
This is squishy. Oh.
Why is the outside so good? I could tell it's good.
You couldn't really do that inside, not without creating a huge mess. It would be a huge mess, really, wouldn't it? I mean, you've just got much more space to use around you and just a lot more freedom, I think. Because if you hold it like this, it spurts out that way and it goes all over each other. If you hold it down, you press it, then it just goes down. That might be a bit easier, okay, so then you won't squirt each other. But it's only water.
I need my udders. I'm going to took my udders.
Once I got into the idea of it being a farm and all that out there, I found it really easy to forget that I was that I was in the middle of Battersea, and you know the only pigs, the 20-mile radius are wrapped up, aren't they? So.
I think
it's just everything's on a larger scale, isn't it? The painting's on a bigger scale.
Are you worried about management outside? Behaviour and all that?
It doesn't really happen. And I mean, there's a very, very strong behaviour system in the school anyway, all the way through the school. But I think they just, because there is so much for them to do, there doesn't seem to really be huge conflicts. It just doesn't really happen. And when it does, it's dealt with really quickly.
I'm coming back soon.
With half the children outside, the classroom's a more relaxed place to work.
One of the things that I realised is that it's not just what happens on the playground, it's what it leaves behind. And the fact that you can work in a more quiet way with some children in the room inside.
I actually got the chance to get in the home corner and to play with them, and all this talking that was going on, which was particularly important for the 2 children that I had in there with me. If the whole class is in here, you just don't get that, do you?
So it's less noisy, so they
Especially
can concentrate.
when they're writing or reading, they need that concentration. And there's more space as well. They're not all kind of crammed up. There's more space to move around and choose your own activities. So there's always like a chair somewhere for them to go.
Pam's assigned to Monique for most of the day.
What are you doing now, Monique? Enjoying your mum?
When I came back in, it looked to me like you and she were pretty focused on each other.
Yeah, she was doing numbers or trying to do numbers, and then after a while she was drawing pictures, like saying she's drawing a picture of Dad and herself, just focusing on herself.
Here's some Sheila.
Sheila?
No, yeah.
Are you going to draw Sheila too?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got to follow her interests. And if there aren't 30 other tinies to be looked after, you've got a better chance of doing it.
Hey, Max, you don't need a help.
All right, Max,
God, what have we learned from watching it?
how important observation is.
I'm going to give it to the bumblebees.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
We can put it this way so the bumblebees can fly on it.
Because just watching that, there were so many things that I didn't pick up on. Obviously, you can't observe them, 100% all of the time, but how important it is to set aside times for the day and for the week to observe and follow them and see what they're learning.
There are times when they don't need you to intervene,
No.
but there are also times when there's that moment where they need a new skill or they need an input, they need to be supported and extended.
Do you want somebody to play with in here?
Yeah.
Who would you like?
And you have
And
to
then you
sort
draw
of know
back
when those
again.
times are as well.
You're not needed to be interfering all the time.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
And how independent they are. I mean, watching that, they're so independent. Not many of them came to ask for anything, really.
I think that's such a key question, isn't it? I ploughed through the whole of the foundation document. I read through 180 pages yesterday. Oh, wow. And I was really interested to spot that in the document itself, play is a half page. It's really titchy. After today, I'd like to write a document that had 3 or 4 pages about play and what it's all about, and get people really excited, and then use that to write all the steps against.
Many schools have taken up the idea of using structured play during the early years. But John sees the work of Sarah and her team as exemplary for allowing the children just the right amount of freedom.
It's an owl's hole where they can see the stars, isn't it? It's from inside their tree.
Overnight, John's done some thinking about the use of play and feels it needs to be differentiated, just like learning.
There's a kind of gradation of activities, because sometimes we're seeing children playing on their own and just spending time figuring it out. And then there are children in their 1s and 2s. And sometimes in those 1s and 2s, someone comes up and joins them, then leaves them. And then they get up to larger groups, and some of that's more organised and some of it's less organised. So I suppose the Scarecrow group is pretty directed.
See if you can work out what you're going to use. Oh, right, go on then, see if you can put them on.
And
right, so, but what else is missing, Kayla? He's got his eyes, his mouth, but what else? His nose.
And also some children are still in the early stages, and playing alongside others is something that that they do. They play with somebody else, but they're not actually talking to them very much. They're just kind of getting on with their own thing, and the other person is as well. And they might say things maybe to each other, or maybe actually just to themselves, and that's how they interact. And then eventually they start to join in as pairs or as small groups and start to work together more. But giving them the opportunity to do that, I think it's important to be able to play by themselves if they want to. Shouldn't be discouraged.
When we go blah, it's mean we want you to sit the egg. Blah, blah, blah.
It's like a trance, isn't it? Some of those children, they either really are on the farm or they really are in their own little world.
Definitely.
Eggs. Let me get the eggs. Eggs. I got the eggs. Here's the egg. This could be the egg.
And that's sort of one of the differences between play and work, isn't it, I suppose?
Definitely. When they're in that trance, they believe that that's what they're doing, and it's important for adults to do that as well, and to sort of go in and sit with them and pretend that you're in the shop and you want to buy something and act like a 3-year-old as well, because it's important for them to see how all the things work. Which animal would you like me to be?
Zebra.
The zebra?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if we have zebras on farms, do we?
They're all zebras.
Maybe he's visiting for the day. OK then, ready? What do we need to do now? Go. Go on, that's it. You've got to be a cat. Good girl. Keep going. Keep going. That's it. Keep going. Oh, Hannah, you did well. You went really quickly. Oh, I'm being the zebra. I need to get down as well. Oh, I'm coming. Be quick. 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 Oh, she beat me. Where did I come?
Second.
Did I come second? So that's why do I need to write my name here?
Yeah.
OK, thank you, Monique. Miss Jackson came second because you both came first. That was nice of you, Hannah.
Sarah's shown John how well structured play can work, but he has one further thought.
What's going on out there is unbelievably good, I think. Really, good practice. And I was wondering if a way of consolidating and extending might not be for you and your staff to have the opportunity to do individual observational tours. Mm-hmm. So maybe someone gets 15 minutes just to follow a child or just to follow a group, and not just to tick off, not just to tick the development boxes, but to understand a bit more about what's happening and use that to try and improve that world further.
Definitely. And also for observing them for longer periods of time as well. We tend to do kind of 5-minute jots, some things down, but actually following them and watching what goes on in sequences would be really interesting.
Let's make a house for it. Let's make a house for the chicken. Papa, and we can slide the chicken down into it.
You could, couldn't you?
Look at the head house